I'm an avid reader, and this book really stuck with me. In today's video, I'll share how the lessons I learned from The War of Art by Steven Pressfield really impacted my sewing. We'll dive into how the mindset shifts really made me sew more creatively and freely. Let's start with the big one, resistance. You know that feeling when you want to start a project and you start worrying that it's not going to turn out right. That's resistance. In The War of Art, it explains that this is the invisible force that shows up when we try to create something meaningful. In sewing, resistance looks like procrastinating endlessly, or being intimidated to cut into that expensive fabric, or endlessly scrolling, looking for sewing inspiration with never getting started. The solution: sit down and start. Just simply thread the needle. You don't have to have a perfect plan, but getting started is the first step. The most important thing about art is to work. Nothing else matters except sitting down every day and trying. Sometimes you sit down and everything feels off. You question every stitch you take. That's creative block. And Steven Pressfield tells us the way to defeat this creative block is to just do it anyway. Sit down and start, even if it feels off. One way I push through my creative block is to start with something that's low stakes. Perhaps it's a hem, or just I'm going to do some testing on a swatch. You sit down and you just get moving. The key is to focus on process and not perfection. Of any activity you do, ask yourself, if you were the last person on earth, would you still do it? One part of the book, which is a little bit more confusing to me, is the concept of turning pro. Now, he explains that it didn't have anything to do with selling your work or getting a full-time job in this. It's treating your creativity as you would a professional. So it's the consistency of showing up all the time and treating your creativity with respect. When it comes to sewing, what this looks like is being consistent, not waiting for inspiration, and treating your sewing with respect, allocating time every week with it. And it's to show up and the inspiration will follow. We must do our work for its own sake, not for the fortune or attention or applause. And sewing is a form of creative resistance. It pushes back against fast fashion and mindless consumerism and the idea that we have to go out and buy things instead of creating them for ourselves. Creating something is so powerful. So even though the end product isn't perfect, you've won just because you've created it yourself. When you sew, you're not simply creating clothes, you're standing up for a creativity and self-expression, and that's what really matters. Sew for the joy of creating, not the result. And my favorite part about the book I saved for last, he says that it's our job to do the work and not worry about the end result. In sewing, this means we don't worry if the garment came out perfectly or if people admire us wearing it. We focus on the process and not the outcome. That way, we free ourselves to be more creative and have fun creating. If you want to learn more about my top tips for beginners, check out this video here. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.